because you are bisexual and I am bisexual. So even though we didn't have a romantic relationship starting out, like
the threesomes were very nice.
Right? Yes, right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best threesomes I've ever had. Josh and I met online on a very popular dating app, very popular with polyamorous people. Can we name it?
Yes.
Field.
Yeah, most people probably know what it is.
Yes, absolutely.
Very popular.
Very popular. And we were initially looking for a friends with benefits situation. Both of us, I mean, I was, and I think you were too, Josh, at that time, but you were open to more.
Yes.
And as soon as we met, like, I don't know, like date 2 or 3, we got really, really serious about our relationship.
Yes.
And that's when I met Char. And I asked you if you want to share your family with me. And you thought I was crazy.
A little bit. I think it was before you met Char.
Yeah,
I think it was before.
Yeah, it was before.
It was before.
Like, so it was like, you haven't even met her yet, but you were like, you talked so much about her. Da, da, da. So
She sounds so amazing.
And then you took me home one day and I met everyone.
yeah, that must have been quite the experience. What was that like?
I was excited, and then I was thinking while I was driving, because we were like what, 2 hours away from each other, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I was driving, like I was super excited. And then on the way I was like, what if she's like crazy and she's just faking it in front of him? She's like, sure, honey, yeah, you can bring her home. It's all good. And then she's like, pulls me in a corner somewhere, like, bitch, if you're going to be with my man one more day, I'm going to just cut you. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, but no, she wasn't like that.
She decided not to turn around.
I did not turn around.
Yeah.
No.
Took the chance.
I took the chance. Our initial dynamic was like a hinge, like a V dynamic, where I was in a relationship with Josh and Char was in a relationship with Josh, but there was no relationship between Char and I other than friendship. And then throughout the
course.
yeah,
Relationship.
yeah, then we became a throuple. So now it's completely different. And I find it to be much easier now to deal with a lot of the little issues that we had at first, or like not necessarily issues, but like little unexpected or uncomfortable situations. Now that we're all in a relationship, it's much easier to deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I was looking for when I met you too, I wasn't specifically looking for a throuple, but I was open to it, obviously. But I definitely paid attention to how your relationship was. I didn't want somebody that has a problem, a bad marriage or a bad relationship, and they're just looking for a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Somebody to fix their issues, because
Yeah, you see
that
that
never
a
works.
lot.
Yeah.
too.
Looking to spice things up.
Right? Yeah.
That's
There you
like
go.
red flag right there.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely paid attention to that, like how your relationship is and how your dynamic is.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me feel more comfortable, because you do have a good relationship and you can see it. And it's obvious that you were not into the whole polyamorous thing just to get scratch the itch or like taboo. And
Right.
it was very reassuring for me.
Nice.
I feel like it's a big deal, the connection that you had initially with Josh. It was really the reason, because
Yes.
joining a couple is not easy in a lot of ways. So that connection that you guys had was like your driving force, right? And the connection that I had with Josh was the driving force to that.
I'm sure a lot of people actually are looking for a couple to join, but it wasn't the case for me. It just happened that you had a pre-existing relationship and you were married, and I just wanted to be with you. And I am non-monogamous, and to me, more than one person in a relationship is completely natural. So I was more than happy to go with that idea and see where it's going to lead.
Did you ever weigh it out at all? Like you're like, or was it ever a, like a negative thing that I was married or already had a relationship?
I don't
Would
think
you,
so.
Would you have preferred, like at the time, you're like, man, I wish he was single?
No, absolutely not. That's what the thing is. Like, what's different, I think, from other women, I'm guessing, I don't know, I don't want to talk for everyone, but I was not looking for monogamy in any way. And I also was not looking for the hierarchical, like nested couple, where it was not something that I was interested in.
Interesting. So you never wished that Josh was single, and you never wished that you could
No.
be like with him non-monogamously, but as the primary, like that was never.
If that would have been the case, he and I would have been non-monogamous.
Yeah.
It would have been the same situation. We would have never been just the two of us. I don't think that like I worked like 30 years of my life getting away from that. I wasn't about to go back to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was monogamy was not on the table for me.
Yeah. Plus, you are bisexual and I am bisexual. So even though we didn't have a romantic relationship starting
Right.
out, like,
Yeah, the threesomes were very nice.
right? Yes. Right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best threesomes I've ever had.
Can we say that on camera?
Why not?
So you guys did have that.
Yeah.
Right.
And we definitely had the friendship chemistry right away.
I always felt like something was missing in my in a monogamous relationship, and I wanted more, but I didn't know what it was that I was missing and what I wanted until I actually met both of you, and we got into this relationship. And I realized all this time, all these years when I was in a monogamous relationship, even though I was happy, there was always something there. It was just like not right. And when I finally got it, I realized that's what it was. Like I was not wired to be in a relationship with just one single individual. It just never made sense to me.
Yeah.
And after we met and we started hanging out together and planning dates together and going out and all the amazing experiences that we had together, like going out on our first date, it was so interesting. It was so cool. I remember looking at you, Josh, and kind of analyzing you to see like how you're acting. Like it's a big deal for a band to be out with two beautiful women. Like
Yeah.
I was like, is he getting smug? How is he getting? Like, you were so natural. Like I do this all the time.
It felt very natural.
Yeah.
I cannot believe on that date how many things we crammed in such a small amount of time. We went to an escape room and we beat it, by the way, just the three of us. And then we went to a steak dinner. We went
Distillery.
at a distillery, did a whiskey
Yep.
tasting. We went to miniature
Was
golfing.
it the miniature
All
golfing?
one day.
God, was that all in one day?
It was all
Yeah.
on one day. That was the
typical.
Yeah.
Typical you.
Yeah, I do. I cram way too much. Liv has touched on it many times. I overplan and get too many details and timelines.
And then when I overplan something, you never shut up about it.
But it was a very fun day. Like it's so memorable.
yeah.
Still.
It was.
When we went to Vegas one time, I had shows scheduled like with only 15 minutes apart. It was like
nonstop.
back to back to back, like four
Yeah, but I
different
was like, no
shows.
More.
For
15
catching
minutes apart
cabs.
down the opposite side of the strip.
Barely walking in late over top of people. It was, I planned it tight, but we have so much fun in such a short amount of
It
time.
was fun. Another exciting thing about being in a throuple or just like a V dynamic, it doesn't have to be a throuple, like being in a relationship with two other people is the sex. The sex is fun. It's different. And it's, even if you don't do it, like if it's not all three of us, like the fact that you get to like enjoy the individual dyads within our throuple is unique.
Yeah.
Without feeling like there's anything weird about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
really
a
fun.
natural thing, a natural way of being.
It keeps things exciting and interesting.
I know. It's like having a multi-course meal instead of just a one-dish casserole. It's amazing.
Yeah.
As awesome as the threesomes and date nights and everything are, we don't want to leave our listeners thinking that it was all just threesomes and fun times. 'Cause there were some challenges along the way. So was there anything that caught you by surprise that like either you thought would be easy or just something you just didn't even think about that ended up being challenging?
Something that I definitely didn't think about because I didn't have any experience with throuple before or like a V dynamic before was the PDA, the public display of affection. I didn't think it was going to. I mean, normally when you get in a relationship, in a monogamous relationship, you do that all the time when you're in the house, for
Yeah.
example. And now we were in the house, all three of us. So if Josh and I wanted to have a display of affection, then it would have had to be in front of you. And it made us both feel uncomfortable because I think we felt guilty.
That poly guilt.
Right. And mostly because we were just not used to it. I was not used to it. Like I've never had that type of relationship before where I would have PDA in front of my pre-existing partner. So I didn't necessarily know how to deal with it.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I didn't even realize what I was doing. It was like, and you accused me of it at one point. You're like, you don't touch me when Char's in the room or whatever. And I was like, I think I denied it for a minute. And then I thought about more. I was like, no, you're right. Like, I really am doing that. But it wasn't a subconscious thing. It was just kind of like always.
I think it was
like,
now that I remember, it was a very obvious thing. Because like you said, no, I'm not. And
I didn't think I
was. Thinking, maybe you're not. Maybe it's just in my
Yeah.
head. And there was a time when we were hugging right after the conversation, and Char came and you literally just pushed me. And we both realized. And we
my
looked at
wife's
each
coming.
other, and we're like, oh my God, it's happening right now.
Yeah. Then I realized like, wow, I really am doing that. And it wasn't on purpose. I was just like, I don't know. I was worried about her feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It was an instinctual thing. And
Yeah.
usually that happens because you feel guilty, right?
well, still that hardwired monogamy.
Right.
So when I had to think about it, I was like, all right, no, we need to stop. We just need to
Right.
be ourselves. And it was fine after that. Once,
Yeah. And once you communicated to me too that you were struggling with that,
Right.
I got more vocal about my support of it. And maybe I would join in sometimes, like,
Yeah.
come and
Right.
give one of them a
Like
hug too
share.
or something, like not trying to insert myself, but just like
sharing
showing
the affection.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember that
sharing
was
the
a big thing
affection.
when we first got that new leather couch in the old house. And
Yeah.
because we didn't, before that we had movie theater seating. So we never sat together. We always sat our little movie theater seats. But Liv, it was really important that we had a couch.
Yes.
So we got leather couch. And me and her would sit on there and we watched a movie. And then Char would start coming in and laying with us. And I
Right.
was like, it was kind of nice. It was
Yeah.
like, it wasn't like we had to separate, my time, your time.
Right.
And,
Right. And that's like, that's why it's better for me to be in a throuple versus the initial V dynamic that we had, because now we can openly share the hugs, the love, the affection without feeling weird about it. It's
Yeah.
just so natural and it just kind of flows.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's not, well, who gets to sit next to Josh? It's just,
We're all kind of piling on him.
yeah, including the kids and the animals. And I get smothered.
Oh, you poor creature. If anyone knows that, if any helpline for Josh with his problems, he's looking for help. He's
They're real problems.
smothered. The love that he gets, the attention, like, oh my God, he's a saint. A saint. If you like our content, the algorithm really loves it. If you hit that like button, just click, click, click. Especially if you want to see Char and I wearing matching dresses for Christmas.
yeah.
Like,
Subscribe so that you get notified right away when it's posted.
there's a bell too.
Yep.
Right here.
That's right.
Hit the bell.
Yeah.
What was it like for you to move your stuff into the house? Did you have to get rid of stuff? Was there?
Yeah.
did
What was it like knowing that
It was very
you weren't-
easy for me to do it. I didn't even give it any thought. I wasn't stressed about it. It wasn't something that I was concerned about moving my things, and it was so natural. And Char was more than welcoming. Like I could see it that she was like making an extra effort just to make sure that I don't feel like a intruder. And it paid off because I never felt like it. And
That's good.
it was natural. Like she was like, yeah, come on in, bring your shit, let's see what we keep, what's best, what we get rid of. And yeah.
Did any part of you ever feel guilty for, like, did you ever feel like you were displacing me in any way or?
No, not at all. I mean, I assumed that this is happening because you want it to happen.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like I was butting in into your territory and taking some of your stuff away.
Yeah.
Because it was never like that. It wasn't like you split the kitchen in two or you split the house in two.
This is your part. This is my part.
Right. So it was all like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. And I do actually remember, that's a good point. I never thought about it. I remember feeling, because we were two entities, right, at that point. And when we moved in together and I brought all my stuff, and we didn't make a separate, like, oh, this is your side and this is my side. And we just brought everything together and we decided what's best, what to keep and not.
Yeah.
And for a second there, I was like, oh, wow, this is really happening. Like, we're merging things.
Yeah.
And it was I think for the very first time that I was put in front of this is really happening.
Yeah.
Because our relationship just grew so fast. I don't think I actually had time to think about what was going on.
Yeah.
And then when I moved in together and we started mixing our things, I was like, oh shit, this is real.
This is happening.
Oh, you guys spent at least an entire day in the kitchen deciding which things you were keeping, which whose thing was the better thing. And
but everything, like towels or blankets or every stupid things, like people get attached to their little things, you know?
Well, we pretty much went through, it seems like you guys, and you picked what was best. Like you had the better coffee machine, you know? So it was like, okay, we're going with this one.
Right. So that's what it was.
But
like,
the only thing, the downside was the blender. You're stuck on that blender.
And
I miss my
It's a Vitamix. If anybody is a Vitamix fan,
I liked
you guys
my Ninja.
understand me.
My protein shake's exactly how I liked. There was one button.
There's only one blender in the Vitamix. The godfather of blenders. Vitamix, if you hear this, sponsor us.
Yes. Was there anything about the way Josh and I interacted that made things harder or easier for you to come in and feel a part of the home and family?
Now that you mention it, actually, there's one thing that it wasn't necessarily that it surprised me, but I did not expect to be in that situation, is how well you two dealt with conflict. Like it was just a well-oiled machine. And even though if you had an argument, it was like a very civil argument, and it was conversation going on and communication, and you were like listening to each other. And I remember, which is not my style, because I'm more like type of person. And I remember stepping back and watching and thinking, is this what's going on here? Like, these people are being civil with each other. Why aren't we screaming? What's going on? That's when I definitely felt like a little bit out of my element and completely not in charge, because I was when you are just two people, it's like easier to control. But with having you there as well, it completely changed the whole dynamic of the argument, the situation. And I felt not in charge. I felt like I had to open up to allow the additional relationships that are happening in within the throuple. Yeah. It wasn't just you and I. And so that was at the beginning when we were just a hinge, and you and I were not in a relationship. We were just friends.
Right.
And I had to open up and allow that to happen in my life, in my relationship, which is something that I've never experienced before. Because usually, like, whatever happens in your house, it's your partner and your business, right? And all of a sudden, it wasn't just you and I.
Yeah.
It was all three of us. It was a huge difference. And I think a lot of people have a problem with that. That was challenging for me. And not in a negative way as much as it was just so unexpected.
Yeah. Like we've said before, you always had a witness, which can make things more uncomfortable, but also lead to more effective communication, because you're not wanting to lose your temper in front of this person that's a neutral party.
It's easier to coax somebody else into behaving how you are behaving, but it's harder to do it with two people.
Yeah.
So if the majority has a different expectation or a different mindset, you have to follow. It's harder not to do it. Yeah. It was challenging for me. Like, it was different.
Yeah. There's things you would say in the middle of an argument just to win the argument, if it's just two people, that you won't say if a third person there's a witness. Like,
especially like when you're trying to say something that you know is not true. You're just saying it, and the other person's like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, they'll call you out very quick on that.
I said this, like,
not really.
No, it's kind of said like
we
this.
both kind of got that, so you're the crazy one.
Right. Yes.
We actually just had that conversation a few days ago, didn't we? What was it? I don't even know. We were talking about scheduling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Sharon, I was like, no, we got it right. You're wrong.
We both heard it the same way. So
must be true.
However it was intended, it was not how it was received.
I was so, I don't want to say brainwashed, but I was so focused on, I couldn't see anything, even though I wanted to see things in 2+. I couldn't, for some things, I couldn't see past that. It was so hard for me to like integrate, like wrap my mind around the fact, even though to me it was natural. I did not want a monogamous relationship with just two people. I did not want that. Certain things when it came to intimacy and connection and arguments. And it was so hard for me to feel comfortable to share that with more than just one person. It was weird. The whole time it was like this battle in my head because I wanted it and I felt like it was natural. But at the same time, I didn't feel comfortable. It felt vulnerable. It felt weird. I didn't know how to make sense of it. And now, I mean, I knew what it was. I knew it was like just social conditioning and the fact that I have no examples of that type of dynamic. And to me now it's super normal and I take it for granted. And I forget back when we first started how my mind was like, wait, I want this, but like, why am I uncomfortable being vulnerable in front of Char? Especially when we were just friends.
Right.
And show my weaknesses that I have towards our relationship and like, why?
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that too. There were times, especially shortly after we moved here, where it's like I would have some really hard days, like missing my family and just everything with adapting to the new place and the new move. And there were days that I was just not having a good day, and it was awkward to have you around. 'Cause, like I feel like I don't want to show those weaknesses.
It's vulnerable. You just want to do it with your man, like your husband, your partner. You don't like.
Yeah, there were days where it felt like a stranger was in the house, or like you have company over and you're always trying to put on your smiley face,
right, like fake it, like outside.
Yeah, so it really it forces you to be vulnerable in ways that you haven't before, and just have that trust, and
which is how we should all be all the time. We were surrounded by so many people. We were so lonely and closed off. We talk about it. We talked about it in other episodes. Like we need to bring the tribe back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like as a society as a whole, you are just always expected to have the smiley face on. Like you see everybody wearing these shirts, good vibes only. Like, yeah, I get it that's what we all want, but that's not the world we live in. Some days you're just something's going to be off, and you want to have especially a home where you can have those
your bad days.
You can just be authentic and be yourself, and then you can pull each other out of those negative places too.
That's what we did. We dismantled the monogamous structure and we recreated the tribe mentality. That's how I feel like we did. That's what we did. We went back to the roots. We became how we were supposed to be from the very beginning.
It works pretty good.
It works pretty good. It worked good. And it actually was not the hardest thing I had to do in my life. It was weird for a few months, and then it just became supernatural. And that's why now I never even thought about it. I take it for granted now.
Yeah.
I think we all take for granted the fact that it was easier for us to integrate all of us within our dynamic because we all wanted this. We all are, all three of us are non-monogamous. We wanted this type of structure. So even if it was a little hard, we kept our eyes on the prize and we made it happen.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. We kept choosing this every day.
Yes, every day. So now we are at the stage where we're thinking, oh, this is easy. But I don't think it's just as easy for everyone. Sometimes there's challenges, but if you know what you want and you know what you want to get from this, then it's just very doable.
Correct.
Yes.
If you like our videos, don't forget to like and subscribe and share them with everyone you know.
If you're in a throuple, please leave us a comment and let us know what your favorite part of it is. And if you had any challenges that you overcame very successfully, we'd love to hear about it.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Welcome to our podcast. We're the podcast people with the podcast
Crew
people with we're the pirate podcasters. R.
Oh yes.
We're not the pirates that you want, but we're the pirates you can't afford.
Oh God, that's so sad.
Yeah.
We're not the podcast that you want. We're the podcast you can afford.
We're the one you deserve.
We're the only one you got. So
Yeah.
shut the f up and
You
do
ain't
it.
got a better one than us. We're sorry. That's all we can say. We know we should do better, but
You get what you get and you don't throw a fit.